After years of being ignored, my parents suddenly invited me home. The words on the letter were simple: "Come for dinner, we miss you," but to me, they felt like a riddle. 10 years of silence, no calls, no visits, no congratulations on my college graduation, not even a card when I married James. And now, out of nowhere, an invitation? I sat at my small kitchen table staring at the envelope. My first instinct was to rip it up and throw it away. But something in me wanted to see their faces again, to understand what had changed. People don't cut you off for a decade and then suddenly say, "We miss you," without a reason. The day of the dinner, I drove past the neighborhood I used to call home. The houses looked the same, freshly painted fences, children's bikes lying on lawns, but our old family house had aged. Paint peeling, shutters crooked, the yard untrimmed. For a family that once cared about appearances, it screamed of decline. When I parked and walked up the familiar steps, my mother opened the door with a wide smile. Too wide. My father appeared behind her, his posture stiff, as if rehearsed. "Emma," he said, voice caught between relief and command. "It's been too long." Inside, everything looked smaller than I remembered. The family portraits were still on the wall, my brother Daniel's wedding photo hung proudly, but mine was missing. I noticed, but I didn't comment. My parents ushered me to the dining table where food was already served, steam rising from dishes that smelled faintly of reheated takeout. We talked, but it wasn't the kind of talk I had imagined. No apologies, no explanations. They asked about my work, my apartment, even whether James and I planned to have children, questions they had never cared about before. I answered carefully, but I kept waiting for the real reason. Then my father leaned closer across the table. His eyes flicked to my mother, then back to me. "Emma, there's something important we need to discuss." His tone was too formal, too deliberate. A chill spread through me. This wasn't about missing me. This was about needing me. "What is it?" I asked. My fork paused in midair. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he tapped his fingers on the table, as if arranging words in his mind. Finally, he said, "We wouldn't have called you if it weren't serious. The family business, it's in trouble." There it was. Not reconciliation. Not regret. Trouble. My mother's smile flickered. "Your father's right. Things have been difficult, and we realized we can't do this without you." The words hit harder than I expected. Without me? For 10 years they acted as if I didn't exist, and suddenly I was indispensable? I swallowed hard. "What exactly do you need from me?" They exchanged a glance. My father opened his mouth to answer, then closed it again. My mother looked down at her plate, her voice trembling slightly. "We'll explain everything after dinner. Please, just give us tonight." The food in front of me blurred. My chest tightened. They hadn't asked me here for love. They hadn't even asked me here for forgiveness. After dinner plates were cleared, my father finally returned with a leather folder. He placed it in front of me like it weighed 100 pounds. "This is what we wanted to talk to you about," he said, sliding it closer. I opened the folder and immediately saw legal documents, contracts, bank letters, a pending loan agreement. The family business, once profitable, was collapsing. But what made my stomach tighten wasn't the financial jargon. It was my name. Emma Carter, printed neatly on several pages. My hands trembled as I skimmed the papers. "Why is my name on this?" I asked. My father shifted in his chair. "Because you're still listed on the deeds your grandparents left. Technically, some of the property is in your name. If you sign these documents, the bank will recognize the business as a whole again. It's just paperwork. A formality. Just paperwork. Just a formality. The phrases rolled in my head like warning sirens. I looked at my mother. She avoided my eyes, fiddling with her napkin until it nearly tore apart in her hands. Emma, it's nothing bad. It's just to help the family. You've always been part of this family. I almost laughed. Always part of this family? 10 years of silence, 10 years of pretending I didn't exist. Now I was part of the family because they needed my signature. Why didn't you call me earlier? All those years, my voice cracked, but I forced it steady. Why now? My father leaned forward. His expression hardened. Because now, you can actually do something for us. That's why. The sentence landed like a blade. Because now, you can actually do something for us. That was it. I wasn't here because they missed me. I wasn't here because they wanted reconciliation. I was here because I had something they wanted, something they couldn't get without me. I pushed the papers back slightly. And if I don't sign? Silence. My father's jaw clenched. My mother's lip trembled. Finally, he said quietly, then everything falls apart. We lose the house. The business. Everything your grandparents built. Do you really want that on your conscience? The manipulation was clear, but it worked its way into me like poison. He was tying my identity, my guilt, my childhood, all to this single choice. I sat back, heart pounding. A sick feeling twisted in my stomach. If I signed, I might be giving up something I didn't fully understand. If I refused, I would be accused of destroying the family. Then a thought hit me, sharp and sudden. What if these papers weren't just about saving the business? What if there was more hidden inside them? I picked up the folder again, flipping faster this time. And that's when I saw it, one line buried in the fine print. Transfer of beneficiary rights, Emma Carter to Charles and Linda Carter. I froze. These documents weren't just about saving the business. If I signed, would be signing away my inheritance. That night, I couldn't sleep. The folder haunted me, especially the phrase transfer of beneficiary rights. My grandparents had been clear when I was younger, they wanted me to have something of my own. They had told me directly, Emma, whatever happens with your parents, this will be yours. If I had signed those papers, I would have given all of it away without realizing it. The next morning, I made an appointment with a lawyer. Sitting in her office, I pulled the folder from my bag and laid it on her desk. She adjusted her glasses, flipped through the pages, and within minutes her eyebrows shot up. Emma, she said firmly, if you sign this, you're not just giving them authority for a loan. You're forfeiting your inheritance. Completely. My stomach dropped, even though I already suspected it. So it's intentional? She nodded slowly. Very. This was drawn up by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. You'd have no claim afterward. And by the looks of it, your parents are trying to move quickly. If you'd signed at dinner, it would have been done already. The betrayal cut deeper now. It wasn't just desperation, it was a plan. A deliberate setup. I left the office shaken but with copies of every page, legally secured. By evening, I drove back to the house, folder in my bag. This time, I wasn't there to be manipulated. I was there for answers. When I walked in, my father was already at the dining table. The same papers waited for me in the same neat stack. Emma, he said, his voice firmer now, we need you to sign tonight. I stayed standing. I know exactly what these are, I said, pulling out my copies. You were trying to take away my inheritance. My mother's face drained of color. That's not true. I cut her off, sliding the proof across the table. A lawyer explained it all. You didn't invite me here for family. You invited me here to steal. My father slammed his fist against the table. Watch your words. Everything we've built is the family's. You don't deserve to keep it for yourself. The room grew tense. Daniel, my brother, who had been quiet in the corner, suddenly shifted uncomfortably. His eyes darted between me and our parents. Wait, he muttered, what inheritance? What are you talking about? My heart skipped. He didn't know. He genuinely had no idea about the will. I looked at him carefully. Grandma and Grandpa left something to me. And they've been hiding it from you, too. He froze, his face pale. Is that true? He asked our parents. They didn't answer. My father clenched his jaw. My mother wrung her hands, staring at the floor. Daniel's question hung in the air like a blade. Is that true? Our parents stayed silent, their eyes betraying them before their words could. My father finally muttered, it was simpler this way. You don't understand. Daniel's face reddened. You lied to both of us? For years? I realized then, their betrayal wasn't aimed only at me. They had been controlling all of us, deciding who deserved what, keeping secrets to maintain their grip. I took a deep breath and pulled out the lawyer's letter I'd tucked in my bag. It's over. I have copies. I have proof. And if you try to force this, you'll face fraud charges. My father's chair scraped loudly against the floor as he stood. His fists trembled at his sides. You think you can threaten us? You destroy your own family? I stood too, meeting his eyes. You destroyed it the day you decided greed was more important than honesty. Daniel's voice cracked. I can't believe this. All these years, I thought Emma was the problem. You made me believe that. He looked at me with regret. I'm sorry, Emma. My mother finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. We did what we had to. You don't know what it takes to hold this family together. I turned to her, my hands shaking but steady enough to gather the documents. Holding a family together doesn't mean lying, stealing, and using your children. It means trust. And you lost mine years ago. The weight in the room shifted. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the silent daughter desperate for approval. I was the one holding the truth. I pushed the papers back toward them. I won't sign. Not today, not ever. They erupted, my father shouting, my mother pleading, but I didn't stay to listen. Daniel followed me out to the porch, his face pale. Emma, what are you going to do? I steadied my breath. Live my life. Build something that's actually mine. Without them. Weeks later, I heard the news, the business collapsed. Creditors seized the property. My parents lost everything they had fought so hard to control. One night, my phone buzzed. Daniel's name lit up the screen. I hesitated, then answered. His voice was tight, almost panicked. Emma, you need to know something. Mom and Dad, they're planning to contest the will in court. They're not finished with you. My stomach dropped. Even after losing everything, they were still coming for me. I ended the call quietly. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. I had the truth, the law, and my own strength on my side.